What is going on, Alpha Hunters? Hopefully, everybody's having a very fantastic Friday today. We are seeing a very fantastic day on the market. SPY currently up 0.75%. Nice gap up. We didn't really do too much. Tried to roll over there midday, bounce back, still sideways. For the most part of the day, I'd say like 80% of it. Really, we kind of spent between like 528 dot or 578.25 and about 580. So it was a pretty, for the most part, pretty tight trading day yesterday. We did have a very nice little gap up here today. 0.4% of a gap up there on the SPY. And ran bullish there for the first 45 minutes or so, first 45, 50 minutes. Pulled back here a little bit for about 20 minutes sideways. Trying to base here, see if it continues to push higher as we go on. Where's it coming from? The Qs. So we'll look into tech area, see what's kind of going on there. But you can see the Qs actually ended towards the session highs right there towards the end of the day yesterday, last hour. Nice little bit of a sneaky run there to get to the new high of the day. So that is kind of where it kind of came from yesterday. A little bit of an early look at what was to come today. Gapped up a little bit over 0.5% there on the Qs. Nice run there for the first 45 minutes. Strong run, by the way. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a pullback there. We'll see if it's basing, going to push higher. Okay, IWM. Nice gap up as well. Pullback. Nice push to about 30 minutes ago, and a little bit of a pullback. So yeah, not as much bullishness there on the IWM, but currently up about 0.6% there on the IWM. DIA, nice little gap up here, quick little pullback, nice push. First 45 minutes, new high. Past 50 minutes though, nice little pullback. Currently at the day lows there on the DIA. Currently up about 0.3%, just about. RSP, nice little gap up here. How much did we gap up here? Currently gapped up about 0.55%, a little bit over 0.5% there of a gap up on the RSP. Quick little pullback to kind of start out. Okay. Yeah, quick little pullback, nice little base there for the first 30 minutes. A little bit of a push. Did not take out the starting high. Okay. Did not take that out, and then we pulled back here for the past 45 minutes. All right. As far as, did we get any data this morning? We got durable goods. That's about it. Consumer sentiment doesn't really matter too much. As far as how, we saw the market kind of trade beforehand, let me go to the SPY. Yeah, I mean, we were just kind of seeing the SPY kind of trade just higher steadily throughout the morning. So it wasn't like one thing kind of did it. And anyways, it wasn't like there was some news thing. It was just kind of steadily traded higher. As far as how the daily picture is looking, yeah, the nice little gap up, nice little quick pullback into the past couple of days of highs there on the RSP. Okay, that's not really the main story, but still just want to get a picture of all this. DIA, nice little gap up right on top of that 20 moving average gap today. Slowing down. IWM still about 0.5%, a little bit more. Kind of getting sandwiched in between that 10 and 20 on the daily right there. It's really the story of the Qs, right? We saw that already intraday. Coming off of that breakdown that the Qs had there on Wednesday, which pretty good volume there on Wednesday. Closing below the 10 and 20. I mean, we've bounced back pretty sharply. Nice gap up yesterday, led a lot by Tesla. Tesla had I think we were up 20% yesterday at one point. I don't know if they closed up 20%. But taking out the highs from mid-October today, that's a pretty strong run. Now all they have left is to get above the highs back from July. Yeah, but it is rather interesting because we're seeing, the RSP, DIA, IWM all kind of pull back from their opens, and money's just kind of flowing into the Qs and tech area. So it's just kind of an interesting day to day. Yesterday kind of makes sense. I mean, we weren't seeing like a lot of capital flows into tech yesterday. It was mostly just Tesla for earnings. So yeah, just kind of an interesting look at today. It's kind of like we're going back to the concentration of the tech runs almost. As far as how that heat map looks, yeah, you can see a lot of mixture out there. A lot of mixture out there outside of the big tech area. Tesla up 1.6%. And you got Amazon, AMD, AVGO, Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta. All the big tech guys, they're all up over 1% at least. And then you got, what do we got here? That's Dell, Qualcomm, doing pretty good. KLAC, that's what I was looking for. KLAC up 2%. You got AMAT, LRCX up also over 2%. NXPI up 2.4%. So yeah, the bigger tech names, the more important and bigger tech names are all up good. Like, and that's that concentration of those stocks are going to be what determines kind of the direction the market goes. Palantir up a decent amount today, up over 3%. CRM up about 2%. Accenture's down 0.5%. So, a lot of red here in financials. I mean, outside of, is that Equifax? EQIX? Is that Equifax? And then Aon. We got a Capital One. I can see the logo. DLR, IRM, and DFS. So, yeah, quite a bit of red out there in financial areas, healthcare, a lot of mixture out there, and a lot of other places. Just the big tech names. Those are the ones that are really just kind of just pushing the market around right now, so far today. So we will see, and let's just run through a little bit more here, and we'll look through some of those stocks. VIX. I mean, VIX down a little bit. I mean, market's up. Makes sense. Not exactly dropping off super hard. Past 2 days of upper wicks coming in so far. All right. DXY, dollar index, flat. Not really doing a whole lot. This thing's been running pretty hot. One thing that's very interesting is we do have is it a bearish engulfing? It looks like a bearish. Yeah, it's a bearish engulfing candle that formed out and closed yesterday over engulfing on Wednesday. So DXY possibly setting a reversal. We'll have to see here the next couple days. GLD Gold Trust. Nice little consolidation up here. Not really doing a whole lot. Kind of flat on the day. 10-year yield pulling back a little bit today. Possibly throwing in some lower wicks. A little bit of a lower wick yesterday. Okay. 10-2 inversion bouncing a little bit today. Did wind up actually pulling back quite a bit by the end of the day yesterday. Okay. You know what? Let me leave that off. Let's take a look at that one. The 10 and 1 real quick. The 1 is getting close. It is getting close. Just not at the 0 line yet. HYG, high yield corporate bonds, gapped up today. Right into the moving averages. Okay, LQD making a higher move today. TLT making a little bit of a higher move today. Okay, so a lot of those are continuing to kind of move higher there on the bond side. All right. As far as sector rotation, let's see what we got here. Sector rotation. Yeah, so there's tech leading the day. Communications also obviously weighted heavily more towards the tech area. Discretionaries kind of in line with the market. It is kind of interesting. I mean, discretionaries. Yeah, Tesla and Amazon. I would have thought. I would have thought discretionaries would have been doing better today than that. Anyways, energies underperforming, real estate, also industrials, materials, healthcare a little bit underperforming. Staples, utilities, and financials. Financials make sense that they're kind of at the lower end of the day. Yeah, that heat map didn't look good on financials. As compared to a lot of the things, yeah, you can see financials really kind of just dragging throughout the day. So intraday, yeah, financials underperforming pretty good. Utilities, real estate, industrials, staples, energies, healthcare underperforming a pretty good amount on the day. Materials, communications, actually underperforming. Okay, so communications got the benefit of a gap up, but not really seeing the intraday bullishness follow through. Okay. As far as discretionaries, looks like it's more just been in line with the market during the day. You can see that just kind of had a nice little run. Pretty good. I mean, discretionary has just kind of been very trendy throughout the day. I agree. In line with the market currently. Tech. Yeah, I mean, tech just crushed it this morning. Just came out and got it going. So there you go. Tech doing pretty good on the day. I'm gonna run through the big tech stocks here. So we got AAPL. Nice gap up. Not a gap up. Sorry. Nice trade higher. Bullish day today, up 1%. Okay. So we will have earnings next Thursday after the bell. They're on AAPL. Okay. And then we're going to have Microsoft Wednesday after the bell. Microsoft looks like it might have been throwing in a pretty good base here over the past quarter or so. It doesn't look horrible. I'm just still more hesitant because of those energy costs for a lot of this AI stuff. And they're not making the money with AI as much as the capital they're putting into to kind of build out AI. So, anyways, Microsoft, nice day today. I mean, weekly highs right there, pretty solid. Microsoft actually has had a pretty decent week. They had a pretty strong day there on Tuesday. Nice volume. Obviously, they hit a little bit bearishness there on Wednesday, but Microsoft's looked pretty good this week. Okay. We got Alphabet. Alphabet looking pretty good here. Nice little gap up. Pretty sideways here for the month of October here on Alphabet. But looks pretty good there on the day, up 1.5%. Gonna have earnings Tuesday after the bell. There for Google and Alphabet. Meta Wednesday after the bell. Nice little gap up, trading higher. Meta was breaking down this week. Not like Microsoft, right? Microsoft has been looking really good on the week, but Meta got hit with a pretty good bearish day there on Wednesday. Okay. I still don't think I'd want to be bullish on Meta. Probably at least until it probably tapped into these highs that it hit earlier in the year. So around the 540 level. Yeah, I just don't think I'd want to touch it. Amazon. Next Thursday after the bell, Amazon. Okay. Had a pretty good little breakdown day there on Wednesday. But it bounced back pretty good today at the weekly highs. Hasn't broken Tuesday's high. Hasn't broken the weekly highs today, which kind of just tells you they got hit pretty good there on Wednesday. Just having a hard time recover from that drop there that a lot of other companies saw. TSLA getting a little bit of that follow through from yesterday. Very solid. I'm gonna zoom out here on TSLA because I know it's been in this like longer term type of pennant pattern, all going all the way back to like 2021. This explosive move it had. So, I mean, it's really hard to say that. Probably looking like a really decent trade opportunity, right? We had this downtrending highs for a couple of years, right? 21, 22, 23. You can say, I guess you can even say the beginning of 24. And we kind of had a little bit of that breakthrough here in the summer, kind of mixing in over that downtrending high. We kind of just retested that spot over the previous couple of weeks. And then obviously this week with earnings popping back higher. I kind of like it for a decent little swing trade. I think you're probably looking for some higher highs here. Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't be looking for it. Okay. Yep. I think Tesla doesn't look too bad. So that's TSLA. Let's load through the semiconductor area. I'll tell you what, we're gonna go through kind of the equipment providers, I guess, first, and then we'll go through the semis. So KLAC gapped up yesterday, sold off a decent amount, but bouncing back a little bit today. Not taking out the high from yesterday. Still kind of at some of these like multi-month lows, kind of just down in this area. They will also have earnings next week. Is that before? That is after the bell on Wednesday. My gosh, dude, next week is going to be crazy. So KLAC earnings next Wednesday. We got what is it? NXPI. That's it. NXPI's had a pretty decent week. Okay. NXPI. After the highs of the past month or so. This little abandoned baby type move here that was formed out Monday and Tuesday. The little gap down doji, kind of a doji on top of it. And then we gapped up on Wednesday. Looks pretty good. It's continued higher. Looks pretty good. They will have earnings not next week, but the week after on Monday after the bell. They're for NXPI. We got ASML earnings last week. It's kind of done a whole lot of nothing this week, kind of just settling it out. So that's ASML. We got AMAT earnings coming up halfway through November. Excuse me. So yeah, AMAT earnings coming up halfway through November. Nice little bounce from that little bit of a lower move there to kind of into the middle part of the week there on Wednesday. Like, would have been interesting if you would have spotted this at the end of the day on Wednesday, because we know a lot of stocks had that full body lower on Wednesday. But you can see AMAT had a very nice bounce back second half of that day. Looking pretty good there. That'd have been not something I don't think I would have taken. Yeah, I wouldn't have taken that. But it would have been interesting to see that. Like, ooh, interesting, sneaky little, some sneaky strength there on AMAT Wednesday. But yeah, you gotta like that gap up there there on Thursday. But man, just traded lower, and then we gapped up again today, hitting into that 10 EMA now. And then LRCX, the one that had earnings this week, Wednesday, sideways down at these like kind of these lows over the past couple of months. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we got the earnings gapped up, continued to push higher. Thursday, Friday, follow through. Looking pretty good there. So I believe that's most of the equipment manufacturers. Okay. So that's most of the semiconductor type fab manufacturing equipment companies. NVIDIA is looking pretty good. Nice little move higher there on Monday, pulled back Tuesday, Wednesday, and has moved off of that pullback higher. So basically, the week's trading range is basically Monday, but we just had a nice little strong move there on Monday, pulled back to the weekly lows, and then bounced off that to the weekly highs here today and yesterday today. So NVIDIA looking pretty good. I think that's still the AI story. It's NVIDIA. It's not one where I'm going to go out and bet the farm that they're going to continue to perform at the pace that they have over the past 2 years, actually, going back 2 years now. Going back to that October 22 where the market kind of bottomed and they just kind of started lifting off there a little bit. But I think if you're in the ride, there's not really a great reason to kind of sell out of it, right? It's just still their world. We're just living in it. AI fantasy world. AMD. A lot of people are wondering when this thing's going to catch up to NVIDIA as far as tech-wise, I guess. They have earnings Tuesday after the bell. Man. Intel looks like Thursday after the bell. Right? I think it's after. Yeah, after the bell Thursday. This thing looks like it's about ready to have a pretty good move. Where's the 100 at? Yeah, I think you're looking for a decent move to that 100 moving average. So probably like probably a point and a half move higher. That's a decent move. I don't really know if I'd play that with options, but it's about a 10% move. Yeah, I don't know if I'd play that with options. I think you're probably just looking to be like bullish here now. And yeah, you probably have a stop loss down here below the lows of really this week. If you wanted to have it a little bit looser, you can have it below the low of whatever this little lower wick was, September 20th, like down this area. Give it some times. You can see it's building pressure right on top of that 50 EMA. So, anyways, Intel. So Micron, another one I really do like in that AI space. Pulled back steadily to start the week, and then has bounced off of that pullback. But it's kind of getting really kind of mixed in with all these moving averages in here. had a hard time getting through this 100 here over the past month or so. It's kind of where it's rejected twice now. I still like Micron a lot. AVGO, Average Joe Gymnasium. Not bounced. Not. That's interesting. Yesterday they did not perform all that well. Came down and hit off that 50 EMA, bounced up, but it's hitting right into these 10 and 20s moving averages. So I'm not like the biggest of fans there on Broadcom. There's a lot of other people that are way more bullish on Broadcom than I am. I'm just not. TSM, this is another one of those like AI plays. I do like TSM mostly because they're the ones that are actually producing the chips for Nvidia, and I guess you can say AMD and Intel, but their chips are not nearly as good as Nvidia's. But this is the company that's really making the high end AI chips. So they've even started eating into Nvidia's margins a little bit because they know they're the only ones that can make them, the only fabricator. So you gotta like that. You gotta like that. Anyways, TSM doing pretty good there. What else? Qualcomm. Wow, pretty sideways here over the past 2 months. Pretty sideways. Yeah, if you like consolidation plays, I mean, this is gonna be a pretty good one. I mean, you got a top in around here for the past couple months. You got kind of a bottom as well. So whichever way this thing's going to start to break here, probably at earnings going to be beginning of November 6th. You're probably just going to look to play it that direction. I just think next week's going to be the one that's really going to determine a lot. So we are seeing some weakness kind of come in still on the market. I wanted to talk about this at the beginning of the hour when we got on the live stream, but I figured we would see this play out here the next 30 minutes to say, hey, it's either going to base and we're going to continue to push higher and grind higher, or we're going to do exactly what we did. We tried to consolidate here. We tried to base and then we just wound up rolling over. So if we roll over today and we don't hold the strength, kind of like how we are currently showing there on the SPY, and we don't hold higher here as we have tried to continue higher. The Qs are holding up somewhat well, but if we do want to roll over, I'd imagine the Qs would probably be man, that's so tough because the Qs are looking a lot better than the SPY, right? I mean, we're just seeing, so the RSP must be getting hit, pretty hard. Yeah, the RSP is getting hit real hard. DIA as well. DIA is getting liquidated. IWM's gotten hit pretty good over the past 30 minutes, but the Qs are just not. So interesting. So I wonder if people are just piling into big tech going into next week, and it's very possible. It's very possible, but if we continue up at the pace we did today, then we'll be, I mean, how far are we now from all-time highs? I mean, we got to be getting real close. Yeah, we're within 1% now of all-time highs there on the Qs. And that's our current price, not even the price that we got up to earlier. But I'll stand by what I was about to say is if we do see the market kind of come back down, I would say it's probably going to be a lot more dependent on the Qs at this point in time because the Qs are not really having a lot of that bearishness like we are seeing across some of the others. So yeah, if the Qs comes back down, Mm. I just don't know if yeah, I don't know if that'd be. I don't think it'd be good. It was just really weird to see all the bullishness this morning in the Q's area, in the tech area. I just thought it was really interesting why we saw so much bullishness. Doggone it! I just had the wrong one. There we go. So what is rolled over? So financials definitely let us lower. We saw some pretty good drops there in tech. Discretionaries there for a period of time. Utilities and real estate just continued lower. Where is communications? Communications, I mean, it wasn't doing great, but it wasn't also just the worst thing ever. Energy's had a little bit of a pop there about 10 minutes ago. So, yeah, I think you're probably just going to be watching Qs today. Kind of just more of the close, where we close at today. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of weakness in across the other areas of the market, not tech, and that could just be people are very optimistic about going into tech earnings as they have been for like the past 10 years. So, not shocked, I guess. Not shocked. But, man, I'd almost be willing to say also could be a pretty good opportunity as if people are piling in that bullish, if tech doesn't have a great week next week, might be a decent idea to go a little bit contrarian. I'm not saying I'd be all in on it, but you look at the past 2 days, and you kind of ask yourself what's the rationale for tech to be up as much as it is. And that is a great question. I don't know. I think it's a decent idea. I mean, I wouldn't be looking to be crazy bearish across tech earnings next week because we're gonna have so much. Are they all gonna miss? No, I'm not. I'm not senile. That'd be ludicrous to say that, but I do think if you get Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta, those would be the three main companies next week going to be talking AI, right? Those are the major AI players. There's going to be a lot of others, like, well, let's see. No, that's more the hardware area. There we go. Tech services. There we go. Something like an Intuit next week. I don't think they are. So Oracle is not next week. Okay, INTU is not next week either. Adobe. That was the other one I was trying to think of. Adobe is not next week. They did have earnings back in September. Obviously, you can see the gap down. They've traded lower. They traded lower all week this week, pretty much. That's the upper wick coming in today. Off of breakdowns of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Not a bad idea to maybe look to play it down to 470. Fill this gap right down to this top. Decent. Could maybe even get in here around the upper 470s. Maybe just get a vertical spread bearish. Wait for that breakdown and sell it if we get that breakdown. Kind of dig that. Anyways, PLTR. Why is PLTR bullish? PLTR is going to have earnings at the beginning of November. This might be one that might be a decent bearish play just because of how bullish it's been over the past 5 months. But you got a little bit more time until we get to those earnings. So yeah, obviously we'll have these three big ones next week. Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta. Those will be the ones that kind of determine tech, AI, next week. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. Will Apple do okay? Yeah, I think Apple will be okay. They're not like going out to be a full-fledged AI software company, right? That's not Apple's playbook. Are they developing some AI tools that kind of help margins and people spend money in their ecosystem? Yes. Will they have anything revolutionary on earnings? No. No, they won't. I think Amazon. So I didn't mention Amazon, and the reason why is because Amazon's so hard to analyze because they have the software side like Alphabet and Microsoft, but they also have the big retail business. They're what people probably more perceive of them. And I mean, they're just a tough one to kind of analyze, man. They really are. Because there's been times where the retail business has been kind of sluggish, and the software, the AWS side, has been pretty good, and it kind of holds up the stock. So Amazon's a really tough one to be bearish on. I know last quarter they had a nice little gap down there. They missed on revenue a little bit, but they're a tough one, man. They are a real tough one. Because the other side, it's because it's also almost like AAPL. They use a lot of their AWS to optimize their retail business, their own ecosystem. Even though they do provide AWS to as a service to other companies, other businesses, people that want it. But yeah, I'd be curious to see how we end today. If we definitely end negative on the SPY, obviously the Qs will still have a positive day. I think the Qs will have a positive day no matter what. But I mean, we're continuing to see the SPY. We're continuing to see the DIA all slip. And they're all trending bearish, pretty strong. It's not exactly throwing great confidence signs out there. So we'll probably see the Qs end positive on the day. I don't think there's any question there. But if we continue to see the SPY continue to fade down, maybe even close negative, or maybe even get negative and just bounce a little bit by close, but I don't think we're going to be running back up to the day highs anymore. Not at all. I think that's probably definitely out of the question. We're seeing that breakdown kind of accelerate here. So, but the Qs will definitely can start to get hit. Even though they're holding tough, man. Gotta give it to them. People keep holding on to that tech stuff. That's why I like the idea of maybe being a little contrarian on tech next week. Just my thoughts. I think there's a lot of people piling in here last minute. There's probably also not a lot of volatility kind of baked into the options right now, as well as we approach middle part of the day. Might not be a bad idea. Anyways, we'll see. We'll talk about it. Make a market outlook video. Get it out tomorrow. We'll see how the day closes, how the week closes, especially really just how Friday closes, because it's just crazy strong first hour of the trading day there. for Friday. Led a lot by Tech. Outfinders, have a great weekend. Take care. And it is voting season in the U.S., so get out there and vote. However you vote, vote. Alrighty. Take care, Outfinders.